Hey everybody, how you doing? Live, and I'm proud to present my longtime friend Jim. We know each other a long time. That's got to be 3 decades, right?
That's not wrong.
Yeah. This man has a number of notable accomplishments. He's worked with and for a number of politicians, I believe, going back to Wilson Rouse, if I'm not mistaken,
We
and
ran against each other.
ran against him, and he instrumentably was the person who, along with Paul Cobb, got Ron Dellums elected mayor. Am I correct?
Now, there was a whole number of individuals, including Jeffrey Pete.
Yeah, that's right. And Jeffrey Pete. Yeah. And so I am pleased as punch. I can't say enough of how happy I am that Gene is here. This is Gene's platform, folks. And Gene's going to talk to us about Gene. You've been on the Oakland Promise for a long time, the matter of that. And give us an update as to, first of all, tell people who don't know what the situation is and or was and is and where it is at.
Okay. Oakland Promise was an idea, not the promise, because there are promises all over the country. But it was an initiative.
Oh, hey, Gene, is your mic? Your mic is connected there. Hold on a second. Let me turn your phone off. Okay, now talk. Go ahead. Yeah, sometimes I can't hear you.
Hold on a second. I can hear you.
Oh, I can hear you now. Got it.
Okay.
Got it. That was my fault. Got it.
Okay.
Yeah, cool.
Oakland Promise was an initiative by then Mayor Libby Schaaf. And the idea, and it was a partnership, a loose federation of East Bay College Fund, OUSD, Oakland Unified School District, and Oakland Public Education Fund. In 2015, it was an initiative with no money. And so in 2016, the organization known as Oakland Promise, Libby Schaaf became under the fiscal sponsorship of Oakland Public Education Fund. This way, the organization, not the loose-knit association of the partnership, but Oakland Promise individually became had an opportunity now to raise money under the fiscal sponsorship of Oakland Public Education Fund. And what I mean by that, the mayor did not, and to date, did not file an application to become a nonprofit. Because that's the only two ways you could raise money, either as an outright nonprofit or under the fiscal sponsorship of an entity that has reasonably similar visions or implementation, in this case, an educational program. And that was the Oakland Public Education Fund. So as long as they were under the tutelage or sponsorship of Oakland Public Education Fund, for the most part, their activity was legal. So it's a misnomer, even though, which I'll speak to, that Oakland Promise is a nonprofit. All nonprofits must fill out an application to the Internal Revenue Service, which is a 1023 application, to be considered based upon their approval of being a nonprofit. Then they would issue to the respective entity what they call a determination letter. So you're good to go. But there's no evidence that Libby Schaaf ever filled out a 1023 application. In his 2016, there was a special grant, the Rannon Foundation, from the Oakland Public Education Fund, allowed the mayor, not the city. See, Oakland Promise is not a department of the city, nor an agency, but they allowed for a special grant to be issued to the mayor to have an educational director. And that was David Silver. It was supposed to be short-lived in 2017. Somehow they manipulated in the city a classification for an educational director. And mind you, the city does not have an agency nor a department in education. But they created an education, and he became the first overseer or CEO of Oakland Promise inside of the mayor's office. While under the Oakland Public Education Fund, oh, mind you, that became a permanent position. And he was a former employee of Oakland Public Education Fund at a salary of $136,000. When Appleyard, who was a human resource director for the city of Oakland, and he's now retiring this month, they created a position for him, a classified position where he went from 136,000 on a short-lived grant to $219,000 out of the city's coffer, not from the Rannon Foundation grant. These are things that the people don't know.
Say that
Go ahead.
Say that, repeat that. That's good information. Repeat that one more time, please.
David Silver, who was the first CEO of Oakland Promise, former employee of Oakland Public Education Fund. His salary there was $136,000. When he went into the mayor's office, they created a classification in the city where he went from 136,000 to 219,000 in the mayor's office out of the city's general fund monies.
Wow.
So what's interesting,
Without a council vote.
without a council vote,
Wow.
it's interesting, while in the mayor's office, then they created a position inside of City Hall where he operated out of the mayor's office and up on the 11th floor. I kept telling the city council, Oakland Promise is operating inside of City Hall, even if they were a nonprofit, which they never have been legally. There's no nonprofits that operate inside of City Hall. These are only for city agencies or departments, not for nonprofits. I kept pushing the envelope. November 19th, 2019, the city auditor did a report. It was supposed to be an audit. it would reveal that the city, Oakland Promise, had been operating in the city for 2 years with no contract. This was orchestrated during the recess of the city council in August of 2016 by then city administrator Sabrina Landry, who is now the East Bay Park executive director.
Right. Mm-hmm.
They operated inside of City Hall literally from the time when they engaged with the fiscal sponsorship of Oakland Public Education Fund to when that report came out. And it revealed that there was never a contract, no authorization from City Council. They used all of, there was no rent. They used all of the city's telephone, computers, etc. Anything that goes into an operation of a building, of an office, to the tune of $4 million, for which they still owe, which I keep bringing up before the council, and nobody says a thing. $4 million free, no consequences. Courtney Ruby, there was no consequences in that. And that report tried to state that the city, the legislative body, the city council, waived that. That's not the case at all, because they never addressed that. In 2018, 2019, there was an audit, the annual audit of Oakland Public Education Fund. And in that audit, it was revealed that they were severing their ties, what they call an exit project agreement. So they relinquished all the fiduciary responsibility, the fiscal responsibility for Oakland Promise. They handed over, I believe, $10 million and some other stuff. Ironically, during that same time, now mind you, when they severed ties with the Oakland Public Education Fund, there is no indication that they ever filled out a 1023 application to become a nonprofit. All businesses who are looking at becoming a tax-exempt public benefit corporation must fill out a 1023 application. Upon approval from the IRS issues a determination letter.
Yep.
And basically that, and you get a employee identification number they refer to as an EIN.
Yep.
Oakland Promise does not have an EIN number.
What?
And does not, I'll repeat again, does not have an EIN number. They now currently, first they said they merged with East Bay College Fund. East Bay College Fund, the co-founder was Andy Fremder. Mm-hmm. Okay. I believe that EIN number is 43601-707. But anyway, okay. And then they had the narrative that they merged with East Bay College Fund.
I think you're missing one digit with that EIN, by the way, because I have an EIN for my company.
Oh, so you're a nonprofit?
No, for profit. Yeah, it's 84-414-5312. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
Presented 62 Media. Yeah.
and so okay, and so East Bay College Fund has been around since 2003. Mhm. So wouldn't you find it very strange? Why would in 2019, this was immediately after the project exit agreement with Oakland Public Education Fund. All the media shows that they are now merging and leaving City Hall and becoming a nonprofit as a result of a merger with East Bay College Fund.
Hmm. Hmm.
I have been asking, did a public records request, please provide me with the certificate of merger under the California Corporation Code 6010A. If I merge with Zenny, firstly, both of us have to be a nonprofit.
Mm-hmm.
Now, mind you, Oakland is not Oakland Promise. The mayor's Oakland Promise is not a nonprofit. So how could they merge?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
These are things I've been bringing up constantly
Yeah.
before the council, and I've filed subsequent lawsuits, and I'll get into that in a minute. But I want you to understand what the procedures and regulations are if you tell me you're something and you're not. If you tell me you're a nonprofit and you haven't filled out an application, the 1023 application, and you can do an easy form on that as well. But this has not been the case at all. So not only does the former mayor not filled out a 1023 application, there's no IRS approval, issuance of a determination letter. So they're in this nebulous position with regards to the legal status of Oakland Promise.
Wow.
But nobody wants to hear that. And the only thing I've been asking through my litigation is just show me the application. Show me the determination letter. But instead, the city wants to take the position of I don't have an implicit right for relief. Now, Oakland Promise.
What does that mean, if I may? Implicit right for relief.
Yes. In other words, I can't sue. But that's not the case at all. Because when you look at 50 USC 4042, it says, I do have a right to sue.
Hey,
Matter of fact,
can I add something real quick?
yes.
When I was working on the Super Bowl back in 1999, I started the Oakland Alameda County Sports Commission.
Right.
Dean and Jane Williams told me it was going to take 2 years to get federal nonprofit approval. I got it in 4 months. I was so proud. I was literally dancing around to anybody who didn't want to see it. I got this. I got this. And they're hiding this stuff.
Yes.
I mean,
And generally it takes anywhere from 4 to 8 months. It all depends. Okay. But it's not, it's not that long of a process.
No.
Matter of fact, I'm going to read something to you.
Yes, sir.
Which shows, and the city is never addressing the real issue. They're saying I don't have an implicit right for relief. 50 USC 4042, private right of action. Any person aggrieved by a violation of this chapter may, in a civil action, obtain any appropriate equitable declaratory relief with respect to the violation. We cover all the appropriate relief, including monetary damages. be a representative party on behalf of members of a class, or be a member of a class in accordance with federal rules of civil procedure. The companion piece of legislation is Rule 9, capacity of authority to sue, legal existence in general, except when required to show that the court has jurisdiction. A pleading need not allege a party's capacity to sue or be sued, a party's authority to sue or be sued in a representative capacity. The legal existence of an organized association of a person that is made a party. Raising those issues. To raise any of those issues, a party must do so by a specific denial, which must state any supporting facts that are peculiarly within the party's knowledge. I have all the supportive facts in the issue around Oakland Promise. In addition to the former Attorney General, Xavier Pasea, when I wrote a public records request regarding the legal status of Oakland Promise, September 17, 2019?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that he stated they have no evidence of said organization having ever filed a tax exempt nonprofit public benefit corporation. Okay. In addition,
Can you
the
repeat that?
legal opinion
Wow.
of Barbara Parker similarly stated that prior to 2019, Oakland Promise was not a public benefit corporation, making the assumption that after 2019 that they had become a nonprofit. That's not the case at all, because they've been talking about a merger, which they have yet to present evidence of any merger. That's the certificate of merger that that is issued out of the Attorney General's office. So there's no legal documentation by former Mayor Schaaf. People say, well, she's out of office. It doesn't make any difference, because when I filed the lawsuit, she was in office, so she's still liable. Mia Bonta, now semi-person,
Hey, so Gene,
Mia Bonta.
you have a napkin or something? Your nose.
Oh, yes, that's I got it. Right there.
There you go. Okay. There you go.
The Mia Bonta became the CEO of Oakland Promise,
Mm-hmm.
which is also interesting, because when she became the CEO of Oakland Promise, and Oakland Promise is not a nonprofit, it's not a nonprofit. Mia Bonta has filled out 3 990s.
Hmm.
Those are the documents, annual documents. And see, I'll show you this
Mhm.
right here.
Let me give you
And see the highlight?
let me give you a solo layout there. Yeah,
Okay,
you put it closer if you can.
okay.
Up a little bit more. Yeah, I see that. East Bay College Fund.
Okay, but
Mortgage.
look whose signature is on there.
Mia Bonta.
Uh-huh.
So she's saying, wow. So she's managing both?
Let's see.
Oh my
Uh, this is supposed to be, now she filled out one for 2017, 2018, and 2019. And you see that EIN number, 54 2103 707?
uh,
That's East Bay College Fund's EIN number.
not Oakland Promise.
No, Okay.
Oh my Lord. Oh my.
And similarly, and
Oh.
in 2019,
Oh.
2018, and 2017, she filled out 3 990s. And as you noted, that says East Bay College Fund.
Yeah.
That,
It's right there in black and white.
yeah. Yeah. And I'm showing all these documents to the city, and they're ignoring it. And March 5th, 2020, then Council Member Lauren Taylor, there was a resolution, I forget the resolution number, but they issued $1,600,000 to Oakland Promise. Mm-hmm. They're not a nonprofit.
So basically, hey Gene, I have to ask because the East Bay Times says, I'm sure you know this, May 29th, 2019, Oakland Promise College Scholarship Program moves to, and it says new entity will keep Oakland Promise name, but take over the East Bay College Funds.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right.
Okay.
Hey, right. They can't, by proxy, take over somebody else's name. Now, mind you, they went from claiming they merged, then this 2 year, 2 decade organization, East Bay College Fund, Andy Fremder and his wife, who founded the East Bay College Fund, they're now changing their name to Oakland Promise. This is trying to circumvent getting around what they had heretofore then claimed they merged with East Bay College Fund.
And let me get this straight. This is going on. The East Bay Times is putting this out there as if it's the gospel, and they're not questioning it at all. They're just like reporting it as if this is the way and it's okay, right?
Yes. Yes.
Wow. Which
Yes.
says nothing good about the East Bay Times. You know.
They're misleading the public.
Man, this is, and they could have checked this. They didn't check it at all. They just
No.
out there.
Oh yeah. Huh?
It's right here.
Oh yeah, you did yes. And you see Oakland Promise moves. That's right.
Huh. Wow. Wow.
These are some of the exhibits I've had in the courtroom. Well, not the courtroom, because they are trying to keep me from the courtroom. Going back to the initial Measure AA.
Yeah, that sniffle again, by the way, Gene.
Okay, that actually lost.
So let's try.
No, thank you.
Clean.
That actually lost
Mm-hmm.
at the ballot in 2018. That was the Children's Initiative of 2018.
Okay.
And so, excuse me.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And on December 14th, 2018, the city council said that the ballot measure AA Oakland Promise had won. Well, that was a parcel tax and a charter amendment. Okay? Stay with me.
Yes, sir.
So by them saying that it won by a simple majority and not 2/3 voter approval that was required and was stated also in the election ballot, I'm going to show you. Dun, dun, dun. Oh, that's the next thing I'm going to talk about. But it it required 2/3 voter approval for passage. That's number one. As a result of 1978 Howard Jarvis Paul property tax measure that required 66 and 2/3 voter approval. They said resolution 87485 said it passed. I spoke before the council. There were only 2 or 3 of us who spoke against that resolution. The other one was, person who spoke was Sasato Labala. I had indicated, should anybody sue, you will lose because you disenfranchise the voter.
Mm-hmm.
They did not want that ballot measure to pass. So on February 1, 2019, the Jobs and Housing Coalition, in fact, filed a lawsuit. And I said on December 14th that should anybody file a lawsuit, you will lose. Judge McLaren in the Alameda County Superior Court, the following September or October, there's about, had indicated that the city could not enforce that resolution 87485 because it disenfranchised the Oakland voter. Now, Barbara Parker, city attorney, filed an appeal. Now, what's odd about that, Barbara Parker wrote the independent analysis in the ballot measure requiring 2/3 voter approval. So she's appealing her own independent analysis. It went to the first Court of Appeal in San Francisco. Judge Hughes overturned the trial court's decision and reversed it. And so that's how the property owners, because of the appeal, mind you, Judge Hughes was an appointee to the appellate bench the second go-round of Jerry Brown's gubernatorialship. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And so Jerry Brown's hands is still deep into Oakland, as noted with the 2 charter schools, the School of the Arts and the military school.
Mm-hmm.
So after Judge Hume's decision, then the city moved to collect the $125 parcel tax. And I don't know why the Jobs and Housing Coalition did not file to this state Supreme Court a review, okay? Because the way the court is right now, we don't know whether they should have filed a review to the state Supreme Court to try to overturn Judge Hughes's decision, but they did not. But having said that, I then filed a lawsuit, not based upon the election results, because that's been tried. I based it upon the legal inclusion and codification of Oakland Promise in the city charter. 1607 of the city charter, which allows the city now to collect the tax. Oakland Promise, again, is not a nonprofit. They cannot be codified in the city charter because it's not a municipal affair. Even if it were a nonprofit, it would only be a private organization and then therefore cannot be codified in the city charter because it's not a municipal affair. As I said, when they created the classification for David Silver,
Mhm.
the mayor can hire anybody they want to. That doesn't mean it's a city function. It's the mayor's choice to hire anybody.
Yes.
So you have right now an illegal charter under 1607 Oakland Promise. And the reason I believe they did not retroactively go back to 2018 and collect 3 years of parcel tax, which means they would have collected $625 and the property owners would have gone bananas. So they only collected the, excuse me, I misstated, 198. They only collected 225 because they accounted for the CPI. The issue on an annual basis, as long as that is in the charter, the city could collect the parcel tax. The property owners should be outraged. There's never been an audit of the revenue stream of Oakland Promise at all. So currently where that stands, I had filed after the Judge Humes' decision to reverse Judge McLaren's order. I filed a lawsuit dealing with not the election, it's dealing with resolution 87485 of December 14th that dealt with codifying Oakland Promise in the city charter. This is what they don't want to have heard because I filed in state court, but I saw when I was in state court, it wasn't going anywhere. So I abandoned without noticing the city I was bound and filed in the state court of appeals. In the federal court, excuse me.
You're being your own attorney. Let's note that, which is commendable.
Well, anybody could do it if they have just a modicum of being able to understand what the issue is and the ability to write. And what I've done, I engaged the services also for formatting and editing, not for content, because I'm doing the content.
Sure.
I'm paying, and I borrowed money to get as far as I've gotten, okay? Because I by no means have unlimited resources, but I have people who trust me and that I will pay them back. So
seeking litigation finance, you can actually do that. There are companies that will, in fact, there's one in San Francisco I know of now that you mention it that does just that. They finance litigation. You expect to get, a huge settlement or something like that.
Yeah, but say my issue is not about the money.
Yes, sir.
My issue is removing these impediments to the property owner.
Right. And I didn't
They
mean to
are
apply that
collecting.
I apologize. I didn't mean to apply that. I was simply talking about the mechanism of, allowing you to have money to continue to finance your litigation with the idea that, there if they have to pay your attorney's fees, for example, that's
Oh, I got you. I got you.
yeah, yeah.
And so what's at stake right now is $30 million on an annual basis for 30 years, which is $1 billion plus
Ooh,
CPI. That's why they want. That's why they don't want this matter to be heard. That's why, because I'm only simply asking, show me your 1023 application.
yeah, right. It is a simple request.
And I'm going through all this stuff. The city council, they keep their head in the sand, quicksand at that. And they have yet to agendize this in closed session. So that's where we are. So when I filed my appeal in federal court, the city answered. I did not have to answer. But when I saw what they wrote, I did a reply. Because they have been all along, they don't deal with the substantive issue. They deal with deception. He doesn't have a right to, implicit right to relief. I just read you 50 USC 4042. I just read you Civil Procedure Rule 9. And in addition, the Evidence Code 201E that also says I have a right to be heard.
Yep.
So this is what they're dealing with. So right now we're waiting, and it could be 1 month, it could be 6 months. I don't care. It's before a 3-panel jurist. They have to decide whether or not the matter will be heard. I want 1607 of the charter to be removed. If that's removed, then then excuse me, then the court will not be able to collect the parcel tax.
It's amazing they're treating you like this, especially considering there's something called common courtesy in the law. In other words, the common courtesy of showing you simple evidence of the existence of their status.
Well,
And I made the point earlier about what I did with the Super Bowl. I was proud to have that designation, just like I'm proud to have my company as a C Corp now, right, with stock.
right,
And
right.
for them to withhold that, wow, because it doesn't exist.
Right.
Now, Gene,
So when they talk about
I have to say something, though. You know this, and I know this. I'm not going to ask you and have you say it like some people do. If you were white and making this claim, this would be a different story.
I don't think so. I'll tell you why.
Okay, fair enough.
Because Marlena Sachs,
Yes,
an attorney,
yes.
they've rebuffed her. Okay.
On the same issue?
She's raised some of the same issues, but I don't know why he doesn't join me in this undertaking. Even I talked with Marcus Crawley of the Taxpayers Association. He says, well, you haven't shown me any cause of action. I said, what do you mean? So there's something else that's going on. I don't think it's race related, but I think it's all about this $1 billion.
Mm-hmm.
because that's what's at stake. That's what's on the table right now. And the property owners need to be outraged that the city, not for Gene Hazzard, because this is not about me. I used to be a property owner, but I'm not. But I understand the plight of the property owner. Just like I understand the plight of the tenants, okay? In certain instances. So it's neither there. I don't think this has anything to do with race per se.
The only reason I say that is because, and I'm not going to go into too much detail, but some of the people that you mentioned have a kind of a well, I am better than this person point.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree. And
say things that, and I told them once not to have that position. I'm not going to say the name, but I said, because you come off as racist.
Oh, yes. Right.
This isn't a conversation I'm not putting out there. I've said that to the person that is among the parties you mentioned.
Oh, yeah. And so and here's the thing. I have no legal academic training, but I do have legal TV training. Madlock, Perry Mason, and Colombo. Huh?
The television.
And I do understand, and I'm a good student because I understand the legal landscape.
But Gene, it shouldn't, if I may, it shouldn't come down to that. You have points that anybody who is of right mind should pick up and run with on your behalf and help you.
So, you're absolutely correct.
So I don't think you justify yourself that way.
That's you're absolutely correct, but I don't waste time on that.
Yes, sir.
Yes. I do my research, and 60% has to be the research. That's why they can't tell me anything about this issue and about the next issue I'm going to talk about in a second. That's Measure X that the voters approved last November 8th.
Mm-hmm.
And the author, and this is a good segue now, because I think people understand what the issues around Measure AA and Oakland Promise. Oakland Promise as an organization needs to show from the IRS, not East Bay College Fund's EIN number. They need to show the 1020 application to the IRS and the determination letter.
Have you checked the case law on what the punishment is for cities that handle things the way that you're suggesting?
No. I've just been in the court. I have case law regarding what needs to be done and what has been done. And the fight from Barbara Parker continues. I know what the issue is. It's about this $1 billion. They won't be able to collect it if they're not in the charter. So my focus is not the election. My focus is to be heard, one, with regards to whether or not they could produce from the IRS the 1023 application. And two, the determination letter. Mia Banta has some cause to be concerned because she filled out 3 unauthorized 990 forms. Remember, prior to her election to the assembly, she was the CEO of Oakland Promise.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yes, sir.
So she has cause to be concerned. There's a lot of things probably going on behind the scenes that I'm totally not aware. I could only imagine.
I did disclosure, and I had her on the program, by the way. So For someone who
They,
might say, "Hey, Zinni, you did," I say, "Yeah, I did." They're
yeah, but you didn't ask about Oakland Promise.
mm, wasn't in
That wasn't part of the.
no to blast myself, Gina. I wasn't paying attention to that, and I should have been. But
Yeah,
also, there's a lot of legal minutia you go into that
right.
I didn't feel comfortable enough explaining on my own. That's why I wanted to have you on here because
Oh, I got you. I got you.
you
That
know
makes
this
sense.
right. I don't like to speak on a technical issue that someone else created as if I did it. I think that's theft. If I try to
Well,
do
it's okay if you knew as much
right,
about a particular issue, you could actually now you could see because you got a nonprofit
for profit. Oh,
out with
you
the
there?
IRS.
Yeah, I have for profit. I have for profit.
For profit, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
profit.
you
Yeah.
know the biggest nonprofit in the country?
Who's that?
Kaiser.
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, no, but I refuse.
Most folks don't know that.
My intent is different because we're a tech startup, and startup companies, if you want to flip them, you have to have the kind of structure that we have.
Oh, okay.
It's
Okay.
for investors. It's for. I don't like nonprofit structure. I did it before. I said I'd never do it again.
Okay.
There
Well,
it is.
follow Kaiser. Because
See,
they make billions.
yeah. Go ahead. Tell us about
Measure X.
yeah.
What I want to read to you first, Article 2, Section 8D. Which states unambiguously with regards to ballot measures. Per Article 2, Section 8D of the California Constitution, an initiative measure embracing more than one subject may not be submitted to the electors or have any effect. Essentially, if an initiative embraces more than one subject, it can neither be submitted to nor enacted by the voters. The general idea behind the single subject rule is to ensure that measures are not overly complex or that they do not possibly confuse or hide provisions in a multifaceted measure. Based on the language contained in Article 2, Section 8D of the state constitution, if initiative embraces more than one subject, then it can neither be submitted to the voters nor acted on by the voters. This means that there are essentially two opportunities to challenge an initiative measure based upon the single subject rule, pre and post election. Okay?
Yes, sir.
That's very clear. Measure X has 10 different items in it. The author of the measure is Council Member Dan Cobb, who thinks he's going to become the next state senator. Why would anybody support him when he's misrepresenting the state constitution in introducing Measure X? And the marketing of Measure X was ostensibly behind term limits for city council members.
Well, full disclosure,
Okay?
I did just endorse Dan for personal reasons, not for that. But so
I accept your disclosure.
yeah, no problem. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
yeah. Hey, I endorsed.
Right.
Yeah.
Uh, I appreciate your openness and honesty on that.
The reason is he's been personally good guy to me. So
Oh yeah, it's always interesting because
how Oakland is, man. Oakland's a small town.
yeah. Well, we got 400 and I tell you where a small town is. Bisbee, Arizona.
Yeah. Yes.
Almost as many. We have almost as many unsheltered unofficially in Oakland
As this is there. Yeah.
as the whole population in Bisbee, Arizona. And we have the former city manager here as our city administrator, Justin Johnson.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
And he was only 2 years there.
Yep.
That's unconscionable. The demographics, the population there, 67% Caucasian, 31% Hispanic, 1.7% indigenous, 0.07% folks who look like the two individuals that people are looking at right now. The raw number is 39. I can't believe he's at the top of the applicants who applied for that position. So when I did a public, go ahead.
I got to ask you, are you the person? I got a call from the search organization since I was one of the ones that applied for city administrator and then announced I pulled out. But they said they're under a records request and asked if I had any problem having my application released. And I said, well, I never completed it. I just sent you an interest, but then I pulled back. But I said, yeah, do what you want, because I put on video. I said I wanted the job. Then it turned out I said I didn't because I didn't want to work for the current mayor. I did say that. So that was you who was behind the records. Interesting.
I asked, I did a general request, and they came back. The city came back and said they will not give me that information. And they cited the public records request 6245.
But they
I
have
went
done
off.
it before, Gene.
Pardon me?
They have complied with that request before.
Well, they knew where I was going with it. Now, I asked for the search firm, how much they were paid, and a list of the applicants.
Who was the person that made that determination? Because it's listed on the records request. I didn't know. I didn't look for that.
That came out of the, I did it with HR.
Okay.
Okay. And I think they passed it to somebody else.
They might have passed it. Did they pass it to the mayor's office?
I believe so.
Okay, I'll tell you who it was in the mayor's office. It was Brandon. Yeah. Brandon is, got his boss in big trouble. She's under investigation still with the ethics commission.
Yeah, it was Brandon.
Wow.
Okay. And I said, oh no.
Brandon Haramy, folks. Brandon Haramy is his name.
Yeah. And so I said, look, I hit them with not only 59, the Brown Act, and I also hit them with the government code 7921. And it also says, and see, people don't realize FOIA, FOIA, Freedom of Information Act, is different than the Brown Act and the Government Act. Okay. But anyway,
What was the code you
they
said?
also
Just
go ahead.
curious. What was the government code you said, Gene? I'm just curious.
7921
Thank you.
government code. And it also says for sensitive information, they tried to use sensitive information on me while they weren't going to give me. They were just wiping out the whole thing. They weren't going to give me anything. I said, oh, no, 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 no. At least you got to give me, you could redact the sensitive information, social security number, medical, and all that. That's standard operation. But I knew I was knocking on the door of something they did not want to share. Come to find out, they had 79 applicants.
Wow.
And you're going to tell me Justin Johnson? People say, well, Gene, he's a good guy. This ain't not about being a good guy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the experience. And you go from a city manager of a population that are unsheltered, unofficially, it's more than the size of the city in Bisbee, Arizona. You go from 4,900 to 420,000 plus. Give me a break. Uh-huh. So then I've been looking at these public advocates groups from the League of Women Voters to Spur to I got a call in the Common Cause. I called and talked with folks over the East Bay Law Center. They deal with tenants. League of Women Voters is not going to do anything. I'm prepared to file the lawsuit myself because I'm not occupied with Oakland Promise. I'm in a wait mode. So, quote, I have some free time to do that. And it shouldn't take that long because the California State Constitution, Article 2, Section 8D, is real clear. Go to it, listeners. Look at what I'm saying. And if there's somebody out there that's willing to step up, that's one of these public advocate groups, I'll help you write it because I got all the documents right here.
I have the government code. You referred to section 7921.700. A state or local agency shall allow an inspection or copying of any public record, class of public records not exempted by this division, requested by a district attorney.
Do I know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I always tell folks, go to the documents, even if the adversary, in this case, the city of Oakland, and whoever in the city cited this particular section 6245 that deals with such sensitive material is not subject to public inspection. You redact it. Okay. I'm more interested in seeing the professional experience of the applicant. I don't care who it is. Shit. I'm not looking for their address or telephone number or their social security. I want to see their job experience. You can redact their names. It don't make any difference. Then come to find out there's 79 individuals. And you're going to tell me this individual is at the top of the pecking order? Give me a break.
It's, if I may, what is section 7921? Let me enlarge this a bit for the viewers out there because it is admittedly small. I'll zoom in and then I'll zoom in again.
Uh-huh.
And it reads, and I'll zoom in one more time. And it reads as follows: in enacting this division, the legislature, mindful of the right of individuals to privacy, finds and declares that access to information concerning the conduct of the people's business is a fundamental and necessary right of every person in this state.
That's right.
So there you go.
Yeah. Do your research. If whatever that public entity is, and once you make that public records request and they come back and it's insufficient based upon the question that you made inquiry about, and always state this, please provide me a copy of. Mhm. So it's real clear what you're asking for. Huh? Don't leave any ambiguity with regards to that request for information. That's number one. And if that information is not sufficient, do another public records request. Indicate whatever that other number they put on 23 dash whatever was insufficient. Again, this is what I requested.
Mm-hmm. Hey, by the way,
the information is there.
In fairness to the city manager, I'll say the mayor has the right to choose who the mayor wants as city administrator. My issue in it was in withdrawing was I was reminded by myself of a year ago when our current mayor was Oakland District 4 City Council member, Jean.
Yeah.
She texted me and asked me to have a Zoom meeting with her regarding how enhanced infrastructure financing districts work and tax increment financing as part of the citywide tax increment financing district they were discussing. And we met, but she wanted the meeting to be made secret. She didn't want me to tell anyone. And then she gave me homework to do, and I said, well, Ms. Mayor, this is the kind of work that I would get paid to do.
Yeah, you're damn right.
Right? Okay. And she says, well, I have a consultant for it. And I'm thinking,
well, then go to the consultant.
Right. I'm thinking, why do you have me?
Right.
Here, right. And so
who's paying?
Yeah. And so after this was, I think I got to go because we had a hard stop at 28 minutes. And after that, I had the common interview request that I've done with all mayoral candidates. Never one response by either her or Brandon, who was her go-to. And I had her on my show before as council member. So I have a record of her having been on my show, right? But it was clear that she was interested in something other than what she claimed.
You're damn right.
Okay.
You're damn right.
And that was after I had said to my viewers the fall of 2021 that the mayor, the person who's now the mayor, had become a monster, according to what people had told me who were in the throes of the campaign. Now, I've always known Shang to be very nice, very open, very, genuine, everything that you would put into trustworthy person. And by what these folks told me, who I trusted for decades, she had changed.
Nice is not always trustworthy.
I understand.
Listen what you just said about the current city administrator. He's not. This is not about being nice. This is about
not the city administrator, the mayor.
No, I'm saying right now when I said something about Justin Johnson, he appears to be a nice person. This is not being nice. This is about doing the business in a reasonable way for the residents and the citizens of this city. We don't want a preschooler doing a PhD job.
Right. But my point is, don't you think it's disturbing that we have this, if you take a look at all of this veil of constant secrecy, lack of transparency?
Oh, wait a minute. what they say. Look at what our president of the council says. We want to be transparent. It's just the transparent. I tell you what the transparency is. We see the corruption and the violations. That's transparent.
Yeah.
I know what they mean about being transparent to reveal the right stuff. But the transparency for me is seeing the what we're experiencing and what you experience.
I want to add to that, Gene, because even like there's a nonprofit, the name I don't want to mention, but the whole point
Right.
is they've attacked black men, politicos. They attacked Jerrick Johnson, said his business wasn't real, which I thought was insulting to black men, and I said so. And they went on with this, and I noted and discovered that this same organization that acts like it's a journalism
Right.
font or
Oh, right.
statue,
Right.
okay, had a secret party where not less than 6 Oakland City Council members attended a fundraiser because that nonprofit news organization was running out of money. This was
Yeah.
October 28th of 2021. Okay.
Say,
And had it not been for the fact that I knew and still know the friend who held the party,
right.
it would have been done without the knowledge of
That's
anyone.
right. That's right.
That's wrong.
That's
And
right.
yet they hold themselves out that way. Lauren Taylor was there. I asked Lauren about it. He put money into it. I said, you had Mayor Carol Fife there holding a glass. And okay, I might as well just say I'm talking about city side.
Right. Right.
Okay? And which has Oakland side. And they've held themselves out this way. And I brought it and they says, well, we're not influenced by this. I said, yeah, but then tell us how much they put in.
Right.
And what the reason for inviting them was. They're council members. You all say you're not influenced by politicians, yet I have photographs on Oakland News Now blog.com of those people there.
Right.
All right. And so, but then they pointed out other people like me and said, well, you're paid by Ignacio and he was supported by Cole, so you're Cole and all this. And then they steal without my
Right.
permission, one of my photographs was a DMCA violation.
Right.
So my
Right.
point is, where does it stop?
I know.
You know?
People need to step up and jam them. So people say, well, Gene, you speak so loud. I said, wait a minute. I'm not going to come into these chambers and play like something does not exist when it's injurious to the body of Oakland residents and particularly to Black folks. I'm not going to come. I get elevated and I'm very passionate. And I don't apologize for that. I'm not emotional. I'm passionate.
Since I mentioned city side / Oakland side, that's a 501c3. A 501c3 is not permitted by law.
You're right.
To write about political persons or anything that's partisan. You cannot do it regularly. And I said to a number of people, and I said to them by email, I said, you need to stop doing this because you could lose your 501c3.
That's 501c3. That's right. Right.
You know?
I think if they were 504, they got some latitude, but not a 501c3.
Not a 504. They by their own designation. They tell you 501c3.
Right.
You know?
Right. Right.
Oakland for you.
Well, Darwin don't write about Oakland Promise.
Oh, here's the thing. No.
Yes.
It's the people over him.
Right.
All right. That's a face. I'm talking about Yazim. I'm talking
about,
all right. I'm talking about the people that really run this.
Run the operation. That's right.
Okay. He's not the boss.
Right.
All right. They boss him. They know what they're doing. Because
right.
As long as you talk about them and him, they get marketing.
That's right.
Do. Okay.
Right.
No, not at all. And I say it's to stop because there's no African. The Oakland Post is there. I made the point to Paul Cobb. I don't know what's going on with the Oakland Post. Do you?
Paul is a bunch of.
I like Paul personally, so I'm not going to say anything bad about it.
Look.
You know,
Paul is a very knowledgeable, very articulate, and very resourceful.
Yeah.
But Paul does
Those-
not
Yeah.
use the Post newspaper to, as far as I'm concerned,
Yes, sir.
to benefit people who look like us. For instance, we just had Ronnie Stewart had a wonderful event of the Legends of 7th Street. Paul didn't print anything about, and he got up on the stage and told Ronnie that he would print anything. I sent 6 sets of 4 or 5 pictures at each set of that event. Nothing. Nothing. The Legends of 7th Street. Iconic.
Someone should send that to me. I'd have vlogged about it. I didn't know.
Uh,
But see, I'm also, that's why I have a team of vloggers, because I can only do one thing, and I don't know,
right.
I can't speak about Paul
Right.
is doing the post, right? But my point is that there needs to be, other than myself and, well, not myself, but really Zenny 60 Media as a separate person, or the Post News Group, there needs to be several other Black news organizations out there, or team up as a consortium, because this kind of quasi-racist problem in news has hurt us for decades.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm
You're
saying?
absolutely correct. Because the absence of keeping people informed about what's going on.
Right.
And, being uninformed is dangerous.
Yeah, straight up. Yeah. And see, we argue like brothers all the time. But I love him I love him like a brother too.
let me just say, people could go to my website.
Yes, sir.
cleanoakland.com and go to my blog, and you can see the activity, lawsuits, and other things that's posted, and some instructional things like what you need to know about public records requests. You got that right there in front of you. Okay. And so also people need to know,
Here it is.
you could go, oh, thank you.
You're very welcome.
You could go to closed sessions at City Hall. People think you can't go to closed sessions, and I would strongly urge people to go there and say what you have to say. You have to leave after you say what you say, because what they allow you to do is come and have public comment at the beginning. So you got 2 minutes to speak, but they can't keep you from closed session. Generally, it's Thursdays at 10:30. No, excuse me, 1:30. But with this hybrid stuff, they changed the time. But you could always look and call City Hall, because you don't get it on a regular Legistar, because they send that out. That's not on the agendized document, but it's only 1:30 on Thursdays.
Well, it is.
But yeah, go to my blog, cleanoakland.com, and you got my email in front of you. So if you have any questions, don't hesitate to call. I'll give you some the best I can, whatever suggestion or recommendation for moving forward on your particular issue.
I gotta ask you, have you had my other brother, Phil Tagami, made peace yet, so I can take you all out to dinner?
Well, I tell you what.
Yes, sir.
I won't walk away from my table and come back and eat.
Okay.
or leave my drink. I'll finish my drink before I go to the bathroom, but I won't come back and drink it.
Oh man.
Well, I really enjoyed this opportunity. Uh, and thank you again. I hope I've been helpful in giving people some
Yeah,
insight.
I'll have you back because you're out there. You're doing a lot of good work, Gene, and I wanted to make sure you had a spotlight. And I was really nervous about putting it out with my voice because you have a. It's not just it's not the subject matter at all. It's not legal, so I can shepherdize cases better than most
All
people.
right,
That's not the issue. I
right.
really wanted people to meet you. I wanted them to hear you and the argument and the passion behind it, which I think is missing when people just don't know you and don't hear what you have to say and not able to put things together in the same way because uh, it's this was a better medium. This is what I literally dreamed of. This is great.
Thank you, and I appreciate that. Like I said, uh, I get elevated. I don't sugarcoat nothing, particularly when it's impacting. First of all, people who look like us.
Mm, right.
And then, secondly, in general, with regards to the overall population, just like the parcel tax,
Yeah.
that's impacting
Mm.
many property owners in Oakland, and they don't understand
Hey, Gene, watch your nose there, by the way.
with what's happening.
Might be hay fevers or something they're getting to
No,
you.
what it is, I'll tell you what it is. It's the result of the the fires 2 years ago,
Oh my
and
lord.
I didn't have a mask.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
So, but I don't get embarrassed by it anymore. uh, but yeah, it's critically important that we stay abreast of what's going down in our city.
Yep.
Because if we don't, it'll get away from us,
That's right.
and it's slowly leaving us. And a thing like Article Section 1607 of the city charter, that's the only reason they are able to collect the property tax. You're paying $225 for the next 30 years with CPI. They can't do it because Oakland Promise Fund is not a municipal affair. It's a private entity. Measure X is not a legal action that they changed Robert's rules. They changed Robert's rules and said in Measure X that an abstention and Zenny not being at the council meeting is a no vote. You can't change Robert's rules. That's the Bible of legislative procedures
That's right.
everywhere in this country.
Yeah.
And they changed that in this charter.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm talking about.
Gene, stick around in the background, backstage, I say. And
All right.
don't go anywhere. I got you. Everybody, thank you for joining me. And
Thank you.
an epic conversation with a good man fighting a good fight. He's been doing it for quite some time. Stick around, Gene. Remember, hey, by the way, folks, big surprise for everybody. I want to let you know who's coming on Monday. It is this man. You're going to say, if you don't know who this man is, I will tell you. If indeed, I believe I had, nope. Oh, hold on a second. Let me try this another time. I believe I had that there. Yeah, that's there, but let me explain to you what you're looking at so that you're not so okay. The man on the whose photograph is there. Let me break that out like that. I don't believe you can see the broke out part, so I will alter this. Stop screen. Go here. Gene, do you know Tosh Tahombe?
Tosh?
Yes.
I'm not sure.
Okay. This gentleman was the vice president of government affairs for the Oakland Athletics.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
He'll be our guest Monday.
Okay.
Yeah, Monday.
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah, Monday he'll be our guest talking about the Oakland A's and the future of sports. This is an exclusive because he was let go from the A's unceremoniously and controversially a year plus ago, about a year ago, and he has graciously agreed to come on Zenny 62 YouTube and the Zenny 62 media system and talk. So I can't wait. He's got a lot to
Yeah,
say.
and you know what? And I have somebody, but I'll tell you off air that you may want to interview. I'll tell you about him. He's up in Sacramento, but he has a sports operation and close to the mayor in Sacramento.
You got it. Definitely.
Okay.
Come back and watch him, Taj, because this is nobody else. Taj is giving his scoop to us. He's coming on. And I'm quite honored. All right, Gene, stick around in the background.
Thank you.
Subscribe to Zenny62. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, Taj will be on Monday at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. The room goes up right after I'm done with my friend here. All right. So, Gene, thanks again.
You.
Thank you, sir. I salute you. All right. Stick around. You have to move. All right. Thanks, everybody. See ya.